Uh,
Alright, so about my clients, I loved working with my clients. They were very, very patient. They made me laugh, they made me cry, they made me scream, and they made me work for my commission, most importantly. We had a situation where we actually found several homes that they liked, put in an offer, and we're in the time of short sales, so we had to sit and wait for a lot of it. But at the end of the day, would I do it all over again the same way? Absolutely, because they've taught me a lot about myself as a realtor, and I think I've educated them quite a lot too. It's funny because Angela is the talker, and so I did a lot of communication with Angela via phone, via email, via texting. We would go out to see properties. Of course, it was both Angela and Leroy was very quiet. So I tried to get feedback off of my clients, what they like, what they don't like. I would ask Angela. I knew immediately what she liked or didn't like, and I knew how to readjust my search, where I should be looking, what I should be looking for, and the absolute musts and must not haves. If I asked Leroy, it was very quiet. He just stayed quiet. So he was a hard character to read. That was pretty challenging, actually, but still fun nonetheless. Let's see, what can I tell you about the most challenging aspect of the house search? Oh, wow. Like I've said before, we saw several houses. The first offer that the Andersons put in was actually for a short sale. And everything was on track. Everything was great, and unfortunately the bank countered way too high, which what we thought was an unreasonable amount. And so we backed out of that situation. We then looked at some other houses, and for one reason or the other, it just wasn't working. Whether we couldn't get the offer started, because the agents were kind of getting in their own way, if you will, or it just random things, very random things that don't usually happen. It happened with the Andersons. I can definitely say that. It's a very unique situation. The homes that we saw also were unique, and I think they have seen everything within the state of Maryland. We've seen so many houses. They started with the requirements of wanting a 3-bedroom, fully finished basement, and that quickly changed to 4 bedrooms, all on the same level. Basement could be finished, preferably. If it wasn't finished, then it needed to have a really good asking price. As far as being unique, every real estate transaction is unique. No one transaction is the same. There is no cookie cutter. And it's a part of the game. So, like I said before, I enjoyed it. Let's see. So in regards to being knowledgeable about what's going on in this market, we are dealing with, in this area exclusively, with a lot of short sales and foreclosures. Across the nation, a lot of short sales and foreclosures. And because of that, it makes negotiating very, very difficult. Oftentimes, the listing agent will have a negotiator assigned to the case, and that does help the process as far as expediting some of the transactions. It doesn't always work, though, so that's a challenge. When you're dealing with buyers that are on a very tight time frame, it's not advisable to do a short sale because there's nothing short about a short sale. A short sale can typically take anywhere from 3 months to get an answer to 6 months. I've been involved with one as much as a year. And unfortunately, the longer it takes for the buyers to get an answer, the interest rate will fluctuate. So sometimes, they can be in a certain interest rate when they start out looking. If they get an answer, that interest rate may have gone up, and that's challenging because what they may have been able to afford to begin with, they no longer can afford due to the simple interest rate increase. That is a challenge all across the board for all realtors, no matter how experienced you are. You can be 30 plus years in this market, or you can be 30 days in this market. The challenge is still the same. What it takes is patience, knowledge, and the ability to get the job done. But most importantly, not to have any attachments. The clients have to understand at any point in time, don't get attached until you get the keys in your hands. And I've done a lot of educating with my clients just to make sure that they understand anything can happen until you get the keys in your hands. So it's just a challenge. That's just today's market. What makes these clients unique from all the others you've worked with? There were a couple times when I thought for sure they were going to be mad at me, and they weren't. They said, well, God will provide, and this wasn't the one. And I said, okay, and I kept it moving. So it gave me a sense of peace where some clients may have been irate. Maybe they would have fired me. I've never been fired, but there's a first for everything. These clients were just particularly patient and understanding that some of the things that many clients get upset about, it really truly was out of my control. They have an understanding, a vast understanding of what realtors now do. It's not just us opening doors and showing properties. There's a lot involved. And so I think they were really interested in what the process was, and they would ask me continually, so what happens now, what happens now? And I do like to keep my clients updated, not minute by minute, but on the things that I know they're going to have questions on. And so what made them unique was that I didn't have to tell them. They would already ask me, and they kind of already had a clue because I gave them the education ahead of time. So.